Holy Week is the culminating point of Jesus' journey toward the cross and the resurrection. Each day carries deep meaning, but it is on Holy Thursday that we find one of the most touching and decisive moments in all of Christian history. In this video, we will dive into what happened on that unique night when Jesus, surrounded by his apostles, celebrated the Last Supper and left an eternal legacy of love, service, and self-giving. Stay with us until the end of this video to discover the moving and spiritually profound details of these events. You will be surprised by the meaning of each gesture of Jesus and realize how they continue to transform hearts to this day. Get ready to relive the Lord's steps and contemplate the love that became sacrifice. Holy Thursday is not just a day in history, it is an invitation to eternity. Jerusalem, in the first century, was a boiling cauldron of religious and political tensions. The Holy City was under the control of the Roman Empire, which, although it allowed a certain degree of religious freedom to the Jews, imposed high taxes and maintained a constant military presence. The Jewish people, in turn, lived in messianic hope that a messenger from God would deliver them from oppression. In this context, the Jewish Passover was a feast of enormous significance. It celebrated the deliverance from Egypt, but also reignited the desire for a new freedom. Thousands of pilgrims made their way to Jerusalem, filling the streets and the courtyards of the temple. It was a time of spiritual fervor, but also of heightened vigilance from the authorities who feared uprisings. Jesus enters Jerusalem in this atmosphere, riding on a young donkey, acclaimed by the crowd as the Son of David. This gesture, full of messianic symbolism, unsettles both the religious leaders and the Romans. In the following days, he confronts the hypocrisy of the Pharisees, teaches with authority, and performs prophetic acts that make it clear the kingdom of God is near. Holy Thursday begins with preparations for the celebration of Passover. Jesus sends two of his disciples to Jerusalem with precise instructions to find an upper room where he will celebrate the supper with the 12. Everything happens just as the Master had said. At dusk, they gather at the table for the Last Supper, a moment full of meaning and revelations. During the supper, Jesus performs a gesture deeply symbolic and scandalous by the standards of the time. He rises from the table, wraps himself with a towel, and begins to wash the feet of his disciples. The gesture, normally reserved for slaves, is a living lesson in humility and service. Peter, astonished, tries to refuse, but Jesus teaches him that to have a share with him, one must allow oneself to be washed. Next, Jesus announces that he will be betrayed by one of those present. The atmosphere becomes heavy, silent, tense. He hands a piece of bread to Judas, indicating him as the traitor. Judas rises and leaves to carry out his betrayal. It is in this tense setting that Jesus institutes the Eucharist. He takes the bread, breaks it, and says, "This is my body." Then he takes the cup with wine and says, "This is the cup of my blood." With this, he sacramentally anticipates his passion and ultimate surrender, transforming a simple Passover dinner into the sacrament of eternal love. There is born the Eucharistic celebration, the heart of Christian life. At the end, Jesus instructs his disciples about the new commandment, that they love one another as he has loved them. After the Last Supper, Jesus and the 11 disciples cross the Kidron Valley and head to the Mount of Olives. There, in the garden called Gethsemane, the atmosphere changes radically. It is night, and the outer darkness reflects the growing anguish invading the Lord's heart. He asks Peter, James, and John to keep watch with him, while he steps aside to pray. The scene is deeply human and divine at the same time. Jesus falls with his face to the ground and begs the Father that, if possible, that cup of suffering be taken from him. But even in anguish, he surrenders with complete trust. "Not my will, but yours be done." So great is his agony that the gospel recounts his sweat became like drops of blood falling to the ground. When he returns to the disciples, he finds them sleeping. 3 times he repeats the prayer. 3 times he finds them overcome by sleep. Jesus' solitude is complete. Suddenly, Judas arrives, accompanied by a crowd armed with swords and clubs sent by the chief priests. The prearranged signal is a kiss. Judas approaches Jesus and greets him as master, delivering him with the kiss of betrayal. The soldiers come near and arrest Jesus. Peter, in a sudden impulse, draws his sword and strikes one of the high priest's servants, cutting off his ear. But Jesus rebukes him and performs one final act of love. He heals the wounded man. Then he peacefully surrenders to the guards, saying that this hour belongs to darkness. His disciples, seized by fear, flee. Thus begins the way of the cross, filled with interrogations, humiliations, and scourging that will culminate on the cross. But it all began there, in the intimacy of prayer and surrender, on a night that will never be forgotten by the Church. On this holy day, we are invited to contemplate this love and allow ourselves to be transformed by it. The institution of the Eucharist is the greatest gift Jesus left us, himself in body and blood, remaining with us at every altar in the world. The washing of the feet challenges us to love concretely, without reservations, even those who are difficult for us. Prayer shows us that, even in moments of anguish, the Father is present. As we end this video, we invite you to live Holy Thursday with depth. Take part in the Mass, meditate before the Blessed Sacrament, and seek to serve those in greatest need. May this sacred night illuminate your life and renew your faith. If this content touched your heart, like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to continue with us on this journey of faith and history. May God bless you.